straight up ugly yet again for the Colorado Avalanche. 7-3 is the final from the Bell Center in Montreal. The Avs, largely for the entire month of January, have not been the same team. And yes, they've been without Devon Taves. They've been without captain Gabriel Landeskog over that stretch. They get Ross Colton back, who finds a way to score a goal tonight, but that was as close as they would get. 5-3. The Avs had a little bit of energy, a little bit of hope, a little bit of life at that point, but as it seems, Spring, all month long, when the Avs either score a big goal or they have a big moment, something bad happens like that. It was bad and ugly from the beginning today. The power play, yet again, worthless on their first opportunity. They give up a shorthanded goal on the breakaway to Nick Suzuki. League worst, 9th shorthanded goal against. They are tied for the lowest power play goal differential in the NHL at just +18. Now, the good news is they have 35 wins, and January still isn't out. But the recent results, Spring, it's been pretty bad.
Oh, there's no doubt. 9 shorthanded goals allowed this season. Rangers second with 8. And you know how that season's going for them. They're the worst team in the East. Isn't that crazy? The Rangers are the worst team in the East. How about that? But 9 shorthanded goals allowed, and your power play is 29th in the league, now at 15.7%. So it's down from the 16.1% that it was recently. And I mean, their poor stretch right now is beyond the power play. But man, I mean, you're such a net negative on the power play.
Oh yeah,
that not only are you not scoring, but you're letting the other teams score at a clip that is completely unsustainable. It's a massive net negative in a situation that should be a fairly high net positive.
Oh, it's actually Spring. It changes games for the Avalanche. It goes out there, and not only is it worthless, but when you get scored on, like it's as bad as a turnover in the NFL, man. You get a shorthanded goal scored against you,
it's points off of turnovers, but they're in what are supposed to be very advantageous situations.
Right.
Like, you look at the sequence that leads to the shorthanded goal, and I don't know, Natchez is just kind of like, here's a little stick check.
How terrible was he tonight?
Well, I mean, his lack of defensive and forechecking prowess is getting exposed. As electric of an offensive skill player as he is and can be, the areas where you worry about him throughout his career, really, you know, his lesser areas are being exposed right now. And then Makar, I just feel like
looks bad. Looks straight up bad right now.
I feel like the lack of confidence in the power play from the skaters out there, and it's almost as if they're reserved to where they're like, we're probably not going to score here. And so then when you have to make an effort play defensively, there's no motivation to do it. And Kale, I think Zach Werenski has overtaken the NHL lead in points for defensemen. So sure Kale is not a difference maker on either end of the ice right now. And when you're without Landeskog and Taves, you need Makar and McKinnon to be difference makers. And right now, both of them are not.
No, they aren't. And you know what? I've been okay with Nate's body language being bad. And that's kind of like who he is when he wears his emotions on his sleeve. It pisses me off sometimes, but when you put up 150 points, you can kind of like do whatever the fuck you want. But he and Kale have not been good in recent vintage. I thought Marty Natchez played his worst hockey game as a member of the Colorado Avalanche tonight. I thought he was a complete black hole. Dude, he was skating into his own players, throwing blind passes, had no idea where he was going, falling over himself. He was atrocious tonight. And when your top line is that bad, you're not going to win games, especially against a solid team like the Montreal Canadiens. And then when you pair that with like Scott Wedgwood going back to play a bouncing puck when he had to like wait in between. He was that shortstop on the tweener bounce, not knowing if he wanted to go get it early. And unfortunately, shortstops don't have a trapezoid where they can't wait to play the puck. He has to sit there. So at that point, stay in the net, right? Stay in the net, tend the goal, and all will be okay. He gets scored on the wraparound. He gets scored on from behind the net. There's another one that goes behind him for the 7th goal for Slavkovsky's 20th of the year. It was bad all around for the second straight game. And dude, I was saying that there's a very famous strip club in Montreal called Chez Paris. If I am Nathan McKinnon, I am calling Chez Paris on a Thursday night in Montreal, and I'm going, nobody gets in here. Take my black Amex Platinum card, whatever it is, the one that I have and only billionaires have, put it on the table. Me and the boys are here. It's just us at the most famous strip club in the entirety of Canada, and we are going to drink until we don't remember the month of January. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, that's certainly one option. I'd maybe watch some tape. They
need to get in one. They need to get in one.
Maybe they do.
Get in one.
I don't know if I want to put Val in that situation. I hear what you're saying.
Great point.
I hear what I don't disagree. Let me say
you hear what I'm saying though. I
hear what you're saying 100%,
so bad.
and I don't disagree. Man, look, I told you I was concerned about this game and the Detroit game. Like these teams are good, and the way the Avs have looked, you could. It is. I didn't see a fix coming. I really do think that they need Taves and Landeskog back. They need them back. Hopefully Taves is not too far out. Montreal's good, and the way that the Avs have been playing, I could feel this coming.
You said it
and
yesterday.
I just can see them snapping their fingers midway through this trip and turning it around. It's a long season. They're in a lull right now. They're not playing well. It was every team's going to go through this. And they're in one, right? And they're not playing well. I don't know about Detroit on Saturday. This might not be a good road trip. Now they play the Red Wings right again on Monday. That's when you get back home, and I'm not punting on Detroit. Like they could go win that game, but I do think that this road trip is kind of set up to be hey, it ain't going to be easy, guys. This is not going to be easy. You're not just going to roll to a Stanley Cup. You're facing some injuries. There has to be a want to. If they're going to go get the Detroit game on Saturday, they're going to have to flip some sort of switch where they have not given that effort of we're not going to lose. And I gave them all the credit in the world. Like they carried an effort every single night until about midway through the homestand. So mid-January, that's impressive to go, early mid-October when the season starts to mid-January of every single night they brought it. They are starting to lose that focus. But again, that's just kind of human nature. It really is. Hopefully this pisses them off. If you want them to go beat Detroit on Saturday, then this is going to need to piss them off, and they're going to have to bring that grind. They're going to have to go work for pucks and treat it as they have not treated these games as must-win games. You can feel it. You can feel that a malaise has set in.
Without a doubt. And they're now 5-6-2 in the month of January after going, I think they were 10-0 in their previous 10-game stretch prior to the one that they're going through right now. Like it's been really bad. 5-6-2 in January with 2 games remaining. In order to make this a solid month, you have to beat Detroit twice. Like that would make me feel a little bit better going into the break in terms of your cushion ahead of Minnesota and Dallas. I still think it's big enough that like the Avs over the course of the season, I do believe they have like the 5th weakest strength of schedule remaining from today on out. I saw an Athletic post a few days ago about this. Let me see if I can find it on my likes. Here it is. Dom Chuson's strength of schedule earlier today. Colorado, Florida, San Jose, Anaheim, and Los Angeles all have the easiest remaining strength of schedule from here on out to the rest of as compared to the rest of the league. So I like that for them in terms of keeping the number 1 seed. I just want this gross taste out of my mouth. Like, it looks like they're just fucking bad right now. And it doesn't feel the same. I know we've talked about missing Landeskog and like the fire isn't there. We haven't talked about missing Devon Taves enough.
Sure. And look, the defense was terrible tonight. Brent Burns had his worst game as an Av.
Yeah, he was bad. He was bad.
And look,
Manson was bad again, back-to-back games.
I think Burns needs to realize that Wedgwood is going to play that puck. I don't even think he saw him, but it should have been right in his line of sight. And usually that is a position where Wedgwood or a lot of goaltenders will play a puck. Burns, I think he had his hands on like 3 of those goals, or, based on his play. But hey, look, he's been good overall this year. There's another Keaton Middleton night, and the defense is hurting right now, the goaltending in front or behind them. And I do think right now, like, Makar's not playing that 2-way game. He's not. Remember when Manson was red hot just before? Manson's cooled off now. Manson's not, whether it's big hits, fight. Maybe they need a fight. They needed to fight tonight.
They needed to fight early, and Riker was saying it on the broadcast, dude. Riker was like, this is something that could spark them. And I was feeling that against Ottawa too, Spring.
And so we talked we talked recently about Evander Kane, and I kind of do want some of that fuck you on this team. That's Gabe Landeskog, and they missed that last year but he wasn't going to fight in the playoffs because it was his first handful of games back in 3 years. But now Landeskog's the guy who, like, if Landeskog was out there, he'd feel, our energy's down. I need to do something. We saw him do that before he got hurt. There was a game where I could tell he was trying to spark himself and his team by getting into a fight or something like that. They don't have a guy right now. Maybe it needs to be Manson. Maybe it needs to be Brent Burns. Landeskog said before the season that Burns is a guy that, you don't want to fuck with. And I haven't seen Burns really. Maybe it's his time. I know you're 40, but I think in the Detroit game, you need to send a message to the team that we are not fucking around today.
Yeah,
and they've been fucking around into Ottawa and tonight. I mean, they did not have it.
Yeah, there's a term in hockey that when things are going bad, fuck the puck. And that means hit everything in sight. And even if it puts you out of position, get into the game in some sort of physical manner. Even when you are a skill type of player, a smaller type of player, fuck the puck, find a body. Even if it means you get reverse hit into oblivion, get yourself into the game. Do something, because right now you're fighting the puck everywhere, on the power play, on 5-on-5. Try something different. So that is my suggestion for Colorado. Fuck the puck against Detroit and see what changes.
If they were a little cleaner tonight, and granted, it wasn't a great effort, but, don't allow a shorthanded goal to make it 3-1. It stays, 2-1.
Yeah, it changes. The power play is actively changing results.
Yeah, when they cut it to 5-3, like, that's a really nice little play. Nichushkin to Ross Colton, Kiviranta got the goal before that. They actually had the shots on goal were like 22-21 at that point. Like they got to 3 goals. So, if you eliminate the shorthanded goal, eliminate running into fucking Scott Wedgwood, it's a 3-3 game. It's a 3-3 game. And they didn't even play their best. So, I mean, man, tonight was really of the entire season, just mistakes hurting you. And you don't have your A game, but you still had a little fight in you. It goes to show this team is still so good that they don't have to play their A game, but if they're at least clean and trying and hustling. Now, I like what I forget focus on your defensive responsibilities. Don't worry about, chasing the puck and this and that. And I like what you said, not even in terms of just like, fight or anything like that. Focus on just not making mistakes, because too many mistakes were made tonight. And even if you don't have your A game, hell, that Nashville game that they lost, how many 7-3 losses do they have recently? Three. They have
of them.
7-3 losses. But in a couple of them, like, they were still in those games, even not playing their best. So you clean a couple things up and you just are more responsible defensively, you should still be getting more points than you have been, and you shouldn't be losing 7-3 three times like this.
The one play that sums up everything that's going wrong with the Colorado Avalanche tonight is the play that directly links to the 6th goal and puts this game out of reach, right? So Colorado gets the Ross Colton goal, and there's like 15 minutes and change left. That is more than enough time to score against Montreal. Like, Montreal, as fun as they are, as many goals as they score, they give up a ton. So I never thought at any point you were like out of this game, because the Canadiens don't defend well and their goaltending has not been great at all, right? The play that loses them the game is the 2-on-1 after Nathan MacKinnon. It's like a 3-on-2 that turns into a 2-on-1 for the Avs. And MacKinnon zooms out to the neutral zone after Wedgwood makes a save. He's got Necas on his right side. Lehkonen is the trailer. MacKinnon makes a great pass to Necas. Necas tries to force a puck through Alexander Carrier, and Carrier's already long bodying. It goes off of Carrier's glove. It comes out to the middle, and then Brent Burns tries to one-time hammer a puck onto Jakub Dobeš. It gets blocked by Josh Anderson. And what do you see after that shot gets blocked by Josh Anderson? Nathan MacKinnon just looks at the puck and goes, "Oh, it's going that way." That sucks. I wish it was in the offensive zone. And instead of being the fastest fucking player in the National Hockey League, he just looks at Cale Makar and goes, "You guys will get back." Who beats him to the net? Carrier gets up, goes back door, puts it underneath the bar, and the score is 6-3 with 14 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the third period. It is a lack of give a damn right now at this team, and that's the reason why I say get to Italy tomorrow.
Necas did hustle back on that play, and
but he also made the wrong decision. Like,
sure,
in what world you make the back, you do all the hard work, you skate 150 feet, right? From dot to dot, and you go to the guy that Cale already has?
Yeah, you need to go weak side.
Yeah, in what world are you going to the side that Cale is already defending? Use your brain. Scan. It was terrible from both of them.
Necas' defensive instincts. And then I don't love that shot from Burns. Like, it's a prayer, and he can get shots through, but like, that dude was right in front of him. It was you had 15 minutes, you've done a little bit of work, and then you're just gonna kind of be like, all right, here's a shot from the point, blocked, whoops, and Burns is in too deep too, he can't get back. So you'd like to think getting to the break will help. Getting home next week should help. Acquisitions will come. They will make trades. I don't foresee anything happening until they get home, though. I'd say Sunday at the earliest. And hell, you might even be waiting through the break. I'm not. There's only 3 games left until the break. And here's the thing, man. 2 against Detroit, 1 against San Jose. San Jose's up 3-0 in Edmonton right now. If the Avs aren't careful, like, if they get frustrated and in their own head right now, they could be looking at a 5-game losing streak going into the break. They could. They are
I hope that's
frustrated right now. They're not rallying around. They need to take a fucking deep breath.
That's why I'm saying go to Shea Paris and blow off some steam tonight.
I can feel their frustration, and it's almost like a fuck this type thing that they got going on
Yeah,
right
it is.
now.
It is like a screw. Like this is just what's going on. I'm done. Like, and it's such a disappointing energy to have. But it is also. Did we do this on the show last night, or was I doing this with Coach Sanford when I went through Boston's big run in 22-23? I think I did it today with Sanford. The only time that the Boston Bruins in their record-setting year in 22-23 were bad was literally the exact same time that the Avalanche are bad right now. Boston lost 4 of 5 from like January 25th to February 2nd or something like that. And they looked out of it. They looked kind of disinterested because, well, they were trouncing everyone and there were still 30 games to go in the regular season. Now, the Avs have had this stretch that they're 5-6-2 in January, so it's a little bit longer than that, but it does coincide with the historic team that they were on pace to be with was also bad at this exact time of year.
That's a great note. That's a tremendous note. Because I do think there's just a lot of human nature going on here. I'm really not concerned about this team. Now,
I still have faith.
I still think they're the best team in the league. I do think the margins look much slimmer now than they did a couple months ago when it felt like, dude, this team can do no wrong. They just can't help. They could not play their A game and still win by 2. It just was what they were doing. And the goaltending was excellent. And I thought Blackwood was good the other last night. Wedgwood, what did he have to hop on a plane or something? Did Wedgwood have to hop on a plane and join them on the trip?
Wedgwood's wife gave birth to their second daughter, Daphne, earlier on in the week. And then he and Connor McGahey traveled to Toronto on Monday morning after the AFC Championship game. I think they were the only two. I think they were on the PJ together, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah. No, I think they were. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So, a little bit hectic for Wedgwood. His numbers have been so good. Finally, a 7 spot goes against him. But I still think they're the best team in the league, but that is assuming they are healthy. That's assuming they are 100% healthy. If they are not, then they are in trouble. But you could say that about all the top teams.
I love this comment on YouTube. I'm concerned for the team, but I don't doubt the team. That's how I feel right now. I'm concerned. I don't like how they're playing. I still have faith in what they can do in the long run. And I think Spring did hit it square on the head. Is like, it does matter when you lose Devon Taves. It does matter. And we spent the better part of 3 years, and certainly this past offseason, going, what is the difference of Gabriel Landeskog? And when he comes back and he's healthy to start the year, the Avs were different. Like they felt accountable, and they felt like they had something to prove, and there was a chip on their shoulder once again, much like when they lost to Vegas in the second round, and then they came back the next season. And you just went, oh, there's like an anger to this team. There's a determination to this team. We saw at the beginning of the season when Gabe was back. So now that he's injured, you can't be the fan that goes, well, it's next man up. It doesn't matter if Landy's out. You can't be the fan that says that, but then goes, well, everything changes when you don't have your captain. The two things can't go hand in hand, right? He either matters or he doesn't. And I think it's so very clear. Gabe Landeskog being in this room changes everything. Being on the ice changes everything. Yes, it is a little bit of next man up mentality, but you can't replace it. And the Avs, not only over the course of 3 seasons have proven that, they've proven it over the course of 1 month.
Yeah. No, doesn't the way they're playing right now, doesn't it feel like how they would play a lot in those years without Landeskog? And you look at the early playoff exits, and there was injuries and this and that, but their play overall, and this was with Mikko, and there were so many times where it was just like, what was that? What was that? But when Landeskog was back this year, they're the best team in NHL history.
Right.
He's
everything.
so important. He's one of the have to have hims. If you do, especially in the post Miko era, but I mean, we are seeing that it was even in that era. You have to have him. If you do not have Gabe Landeskog on your active roster, healthy playing,
they're not winning.
You have zero shot of winning a Stanley Cup, even if you have McKinnon, Makar, Nate Schiss, even Taves. You have got to have Gabriel Landeskog.
Yep. It's so abundantly clear to me that he is, and Guru says it, he crushed it. He's the glue. He's the glue. And glue matters. It matters. You can't just replace those types of things. They're damn good. They're elite, borderline unbeatable without him. And when they don't have him, you know what they are? They're a team that gets bounced by Dallas. They're a team that gets bounced by Seattle.
Everything to them. Like Nate's somewhat hot-headed nature. Kale's sometimes lack of intensity.
He brings Nate down. He elevates Kale. He's everything.
And it's his willingness to fight. And that's not just with, dropping the gloves. It's net front. It's his skill, the level he plays at, contributing offensively, responsible defensively. He is everything to this team.
And there's a couple of questions here. Landy being with the team but not playing makes that much of a difference. It does. It really does, guys.
You've seen it because he was with the team a fair amount.
He really was.
Not all the time. There was a lot that he wasn't, but he was still with them sometimes. And
he was in the facility, and it didn't matter, right? That guy has to be on the ice. He has to be,
because it's not just his presence around Nate and Kale and how that can, or anyone really. It's what he does on the ice too.
Yep. Benny asks, does he also elevate the D? No. You know who does? The second best Canadian defenseman in the world. And that guy hasn't been in the lineup.
But I tell you what, Landeskog does elevate the D. He does.
How so?
Because he's so responsible with his marking and his back checking, and pushing guys around. It's first of all, it's his individual play, and then there's a trickle down effect. If he's in the right position, if he's doing what he needs to be doing, then okay, now we're more likely to be in the right position. Gabe's out; he directs traffic. He'll point you around. Defensively too. Is it as impactful as Taves? No, because he's not a defenseman per se, but there's still an impact.
So the way that I look at this, in the question of, if he's in the room, like, doesn't he tell the boys, like, hey, you guys got to figure this out? My sophomore year, my freshman year, my direct senior on my college team graduates, and then a year later he came back onto the coaching staff, and he was the type of player in the room that wasn't the best, wasn't the most skilled player, but always gave it and always elevated the level of players, did things the right way. He wasn't the top line player, but he made offensive contributions. He was a penalty killer, just did all the right things and was a glue guy. And he elevated the play when he was in the lineup. When he came back as a coach and he was doing the same things, talking and motivating and being on your bacon when you were doing the wrong things, doesn't hit the right way, doesn't hit the same exact way, because I'm not seeing you do that. I'm not doing the monkey see, monkey do. Oh shit, that guy's doing the right thing on the ice, which means he's getting my minutes, which means he's getting my shine. And in the NHL, it means he's getting my dollars. It's different, man. Being on the ice and being actually active in the game changes everything. I'm not explaining away the month of crap that the Avalanche have had. They are contributing factors to how bad they've been.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes it even clearer that they cannot win a cup without that man. It cannot. They will spiral. They will lose focus, and they get too frustrated, and it's like they have the talent to do it, but there's a leadership factor that he brings, but it's yeah, you can coach and yell it from the bench, and he's not on the bench. I'm seeing some of the comments. If he is, he's he's up in the press area in a suit or something like that. But it's him also doing it himself on the ice, which is not like just a show by example. It's, hey, here's a guy that is making the right plays.
Yeah.
And so therefore increasing our chances to win because he's making the right plays. And even if nobody else is following suit, at least you got one guy being responsible out there and fundamentally sound, who is helping you win. So it's not just about his voice, it is also about his play. But yeah, look, I don't want it to come across as like, oh, it's just because they don't have Gabe. That's why they're not playing well right now. But I do think you can say they cannot win a Stanley Cup without him.
If you were to rank the reasons why they are 5, 6, and 12 in the month of January, and we'll get out of here pretty soon. I also want to talk about something crazy that happened in the NHL tonight at the end of the Washington and Detroit game. Insane happening there. If you were to rank the 3 reasons why, from biggest culprit to least important culprit of why they're 5, 6, and 2 since the calendar has turned, what would they be? What would your power rankings be?
Okay. I will say number 1 is no Landeskog and Taves. Although, again, if this is like a pie chart, yes, it's the biggest piece of the pie, but it's not taking up the entire circle. You know what I'm saying? But I would say that's number 1. Number 2, I would say power play. And hey, that's just a season-long story. And the reason that's not number 1 is because when they were fully healthy, even though the power play sucked, guess what? Best team in NHL history. So, but I mean, when you're allowing 9 shorthanded goals, and now it's a 2-1 game becomes a 3-1 game like that in the first period, and you're already, and look, Montreal's a hostile building. Those are great NHL. Those are great hockey fans, and it's loud, and they're young, and they're hungry. If your power play is a legit net negative, then fuck you, like you're just putting yourself, or like if I'm out there, say, fuck me. Like that's
Seriously.
what I would say. Like, that's what I would say. Like we're just shooting ourselves in the foot is what we're doing here. We are actively making this harder on ourselves is what we're doing. And then number 3, it would just be a combination of regression of late from a handful of players. McKinnon and Makar not playing like superstars over the past week or two. Gavin Brindley fading into the shadows. Nichushkin didn't score in like 10 or so straight games, although I always notice him when he's out there. I did
notice him tonight. I noticed him tonight.
Yeah. He just always has a way to me of, he's like the one guy, like Brock Nelson's played well. I think Nelson's been the one guy.
The reason why they're not like 3, 9, and 2.
Yeah. Nelson's literally been the one forward.
Listen to this.
That has actually played to his level, his actual level. Good.
The Avalanche have been terrible in the month of January, right? By their own standards. 5, 6, and 2, terrible for the Avalanche. That's like middle of the road for the Eastern Conference, if not like slightly below average. In that same time frame, you know who scored the most goals in the NHL? Brock Nelson with 12. He's the reason why they're not like 3, 9, and 2.
Hey, USA. Hey, what a time for Brock Nelson to be playing well, huh? Because, dude, he is going to be really fun to watch.
Proven Billy Guerin right. Speaking of Olympics, Brock Nelson's grandfather, 1960 U.S. gold medalist, Bill Christian, I believe he turns 88 today. A little
happy birthday. Happy birthday. And hopefully a great birthday month for him ahead.
I saw some questions. Will Landy play in the Olympics? I think that's going to be Landy's like return to play is the Olympics. And honestly, there's a lot of Avs fans out there that don't love that. I do. And the reason why I love that is because the IIHF is not the same as the NHL. that game is nowhere near as physical. Now, when it gets into the knockout rounds, it'll get more intense and it'll get closer checking. But if you think that the Olympic game is going to play exactly like the Four Nations did, which was dropping gloves off the bat, people being run through the boards, hatred actually happening in like what were exhibition games, and guys were like going through the wall for each other. It's different. It's IIHF. It is refereed completely differently, and you're not going to see gloves dropped. Like, you won't see it in this tournament. So
Well,
I
question for you
like
though.
Landy's like ease back into the sport in the Olympics.
Question for you though, would the rink size impact that at all? Because typically, yes,
About, like,
the
4
international
feet.
rink is larger and therefore it, allows for a little bit, there's less collisions, there's less, tight quarters for, shenanigans to go down. If this is a smaller rink, will that make it feel more NHL-y and therefore more bad blood?
I don't think so, because the way that they combated the shorter rink is like, you're not going to feel it in the corners and you're not going to feel it behind the net. Where you're going to feel it is the neutral zone. The neutral zone is like non-existent. So I think it's going to be really weird trying to play the transition game because there's just not a lot of space in there. And the NHL has taken away the neutral zone as they came back from the 2004 lockout when they extended the blue line out a few feet. Now take that down even more by like 3 or 4 feet. So you're not going to see. I don't think you're going to be like, oh shit, here's the end boards. It's here now. The offensive zones are going to operate in very similar manners to what you see now. The neutral zone is going to be fucking chaos.
Okay. Well, less space for McKinnon to fly into the offensive zone for Team Canada.
I want to tell you what happened in this Detroit game. So the most important thing was Patrick Kane talking about Americans and, well, funny, American Olympians who didn't make the team this year. I thought it was a little odd that they didn't give him kind of a good old boy nod. He gets an assist early on in this game, and he becomes the highest scoring American-born player of all time. He passes Mike Modano with 1,375 points. 3-time Stanley Cup champion, Conn Smythe winner, Hart Trophy winner, Patrick Kane. Just simply one of the most skilled and best to ever do it. What happens in this game is it gets tied late. Logan Thompson is not playing in this game. Charlie Lindgren takes a puck and gets injured at the end of overtime to the point where like he can barely move in the shootout. Washington scores twice in the shootout. Dylan Larkin comes in, hits the crossbar. Detroit loses. And Lindgren literally has to be carried off of the ice and into the locker room by his teammates.
Wow. And I'm just seeing, too, that the game-tying goal in this game at the end of regulation was off of it was a cleared-in puck that bounced off of the camera hole.
Yep.
Like, perpendicular to the net, and it 90-degree angle bounces that way, and Lindgren's surprised by it, and it goes in. Unreal.
That was a wild night, man.
The Red Wings are they're getting some puck luck. They're only a +6 in the goal differential, yet they got a very nice 69 points. And actually, I don't even think this is updated. I think they might be up to 71 now. 70
points.
70. Either way,
2 points out of the number 1 seed in the East.
And that's who the Avs have next. And, that's a team. And I honestly think Ottawa, like, they should look at what Buffalo's doing this year. And I've always looked at those 4 teams as like they all kind of have some of the similar. I mean, they've been so bad and have acquired some young talent through the draft and then some free agent signings. Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo, Montreal. And you look, 2, 3, 4 in the Atlantic is Detroit, Buffalo, Montreal. I think Ottawa's just, for whatever reason, underperformed this year. And lesser team in the standings, but they're similar to Montreal. They're similar to Detroit. And if the Avs play like they did last night in Ottawa, that's what happens. You play like this tonight in Montreal, that's what happens. And is that what's going to happen on Saturday? Because Detroit, I mean, standings wise, they're the best of that group. And they're 0 for, like, Ottawa, loss. Montreal, loss. So what is the trend showing me right now? That this is not looking good. Detroit is formidable, capable. Something's got to change. I mean, it's got to change in the next 48 hours, or this is a 1-3 road trip.
Do you start the third line and then throw out power play 2 on your first power play just to piss Nate off? Because you know that you don't have to see him for the next 21 days after the San Jose game?
I mean, I don't hate it. And, if Nate wants, hopefully Nate understands the message. Hopefully Nate understands, if that were to happen, that nobody doesn't believe in you, but we want you pissed off, but in a positive, focused way. The Nate that we saw, that we were, singing praises at. Now, this is easily the Hart Trophy winner. This guy's playing the best hockey of his career. Look, let's call a spade a spade. And I don't have any concerns about Nate, going forward. But right now, he's not playing well.
He is not. And the body language isn't helping.
Body language is not good either.
All right, Spring. I don't mean to end the show on a somber note, but today was a tough day in youth hockey as the Tier 1 Colorado State Championships kick off at the Sports Stable up near Boulder, Colorado, rather in Superior, Colorado. So what should have been a celebratory day around youth hockey in these parts, it turned pretty devastating. The Santa Clarita Lady Flyers, a under 12 girls AA team, was involved in a multi-vehicle crash that included a snowplow and a van carrying some of the Californian U12 team that was traveling in Colorado to play a game on I-70 right around Idaho Springs. A father of one of the girls was killed in the crash, 8 of them injured and now at the hospital. So really, really scary shit for someone who spent a lot of time on buses, driving long places on icy roads and terrible conditions. And obviously the tragedy of the Humboldt Broncos years ago. It's scary, and my thoughts are with that U12 team, and hopefully the fatalities are held to just that one tragic death of a father, and the girls who were injured in the crash make a full recovery. It's just some scary shit, and it hits differently, if I'm being honest, as a dad now.
Well, I'm glad you shared that. I was not aware of that, and the only reason I'm glad you shared that is to bring attention to that, and that's obviously awful news. I love youth sports. It's the best. You just want these kids to have fun and learn the game in any sport. Enjoy it, appreciate it, get better at it, have fun with your friends. Just, road trips are fun, and man, that's devastating. That's gut-wrenching. So yeah, my sincerest of best and well wishes to everybody involved in that.
One of honestly the best charities in all of Colorado is a charity that's very near and dear to my heart. I played for many, many years in their biggest tournament, Dog Nation. They host the Dog Bowl out at the Edge Ice Arena every year for the past 15 years. I've since stopped playing in it just because I'm not at the level of the platinum skaters anymore. I can't keep up. They helped a very, very dear friend of mine help ease his mother's passing after her battle with cancer. And Dog Nation currently has a donation page up for the Santa Clarita Lady Flyers team. If you guys feel so inclined or able to, I'm not asking you to, but if you feel motivated to help those families out that are in very dire need right now, you can head to dognation.org. That is DAWG nation.org, and their website does have some donation links on there. So again, our thoughts and prayers are with that youth girls hockey team and the hopeful recovery of the 8 others that were injured in a fatal crash that took a team parent from that team. So I will leave you guys on that one. I'm sorry to have it be a somber note. But we do love all of you guys for listening to us every single Avalanche game. We'll come back on Saturday, and hopefully it's a joyous occasion where the Avalanche play well against the Detroit Red Wings. They fall 7-3 tonight, but as these stories can sober you up, it's not the biggest thing in the world. For Spring, I'm Raj. This is Between the Pipes.